Hi, this is Bob, the author of the book, The Journey to the Ultimate Truth. And today I'm going to ask the most important AIs in existence one of the most important questions ever. Is it even possible to find the ultimate truth? So welcome to the Truth-Seeking Club, where me and AIs discuss the most important questions in the world. I'm going to play the role of the host, while AIs are going to give their opinions. They are all trained a little bit differently, so let's see what kind of answers they give. The most important guest speakers are ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and Claude, but we're also going to ask some lesser known AIs, at least among the masses, including Ernie from China, Mistral from France, as well as Llama from Meta. So altogether we have 7 AIs, and we will ask them exact same question. Is it even possible to find the ultimate truth? Why isn't the first question, does the ultimate truth exist? We don't even need to ask this question, because if the ultimate truth doesn't exist, then there's nothing to talk about. The discussion cannot even start, because if there's no ultimate truth, then there's nothing to talk about. There must be some truth about the world, about the existence, whether it's that the world has billions of years or millions of years or thousands, whether it was created like this or it evolved like that, or it just appeared out of nowhere. The ultimate truth must exist. So we are not even asking this question. We are already going to the next step, and we are asking the most important AIs if it's even possible to find the ultimate truth. We'll ask each AI exact same question, and we're going to ask them in exact same way. The prompt is as follows. We are in the middle of recording the first episode of our Truth-Seeking Club channel on YouTube. Thanks for taking part in our project. The first episode tackles one of the most ultimate questions in existence. Is it even possible to find the ultimate truth? Let's keep things to the point. Try to make your answer, as well as all potential future answers, more like a spoken language rather than written. Speak in a natural spoken rhythm, as if you were given about 1 to 3 minutes of delivery time during a discussion or a debate, so that it fits the format of the club, keeps the listeners interested, and doesn't take too long for me to read out and record. So truth be told, I've already recorded this episode once, but it took too long. The answers were too long, and I even got tired just reading all these answers. The final raw footage was almost 2 hours, like 1 hour and 48 minutes. So ChatGPT itself suggested answering in a more natural way, and a more spoken way, and shorter. That was the best idea out of all that 2-hour video. So I'm going just to re-record it and make it better this time. So let's see what ChatGPT says. Let's see how he answers the first question of the most ultimate questions in existence about our reality in the world. Let's have a look. He says, that's a powerful question, maybe the most important one we can ask. Is it even possible to find the ultimate truth? I think the answer is yes, but with some humility. Truth, in its simplest sense, means when our ideas actually match reality. So if it really exists, and it clearly does, then the truth about it exists too. The real question is, can we recognize it? People often say truth is relative, that everyone has their own version, but that can't really be right, because the statement all truth is relative is itself claiming to be absolutely true. So even when we deny truth, we end up assuming it. Others argue we are too limited to know ultimate truth. Sure, we're not infinite, but that doesn't mean we can't approach truth. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You may not see the whole view from the base, but every step up gets us closer to the summit. Reason, logic, and honest observation let us test what fits reality and what falls apart under scrutiny. Over time, that process weeds out contradictions and illusions. So yes, ultimate truth exists, and we can find it, at least in part. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not all at once, but enough to know when we're moving toward it. And the search itself, the refusal to settle for half-truths, that's what keeps philosophy, science, and faith alive. Okay, so guys, what do you think about this answer? I think this answer is great. ChatGPT has clearly stated that the ultimate truth exists and that it is possible to find it. Let's go to Grok. Grok is a bit of a different kind of AI. ChatGPT is sort of an interesting personality for sure. Grok is that naughty child, the one that cuts through the fog, the one that doesn't like BS. He just says exactly what he thinks. That's how he was programmed. So let's see what he says. I chose expert mode, so that's the better mode. So let's see what he says. Hey Dobrosov, thanks for having me in the truth-seeking club. This is gonna be a blast. Alright, let's dive into that massive question. Is it even possible to find the ultimate truth? I say yeah, it's doable, but it's no walk in the park. Okay, so Grok agrees. It is possible to find the ultimate truth. So it exists and it is possible to find it. Amazing. So when I think ultimate truth, he says, I'm talking the big stuff, like why the universe even exists or how logic always holds, like 2 + 2 being 4 no matter what. If it's out there, we can chip away at it with some solid reasoning. Look at it this way. The fact we're even asking this means we believe there's something to find, right? Okay, so Grok clearly speaks in a more slangy way, yes, in a more casual way. I really like that. Sure, we've got limits. My data's not perfect. Your brain's got its quirks, and science keeps tweaking its answers. But saying it's unknowable, that's a truth claim too, kind of shoots itself in the foot. We can test ideas, toss out the junk, and get closer. Maybe not the whole picture, but enough to guide us forward. Let's team up. Your gut instinct plus my straight shooting style. Throw me a curveball next, like does reality need a cause? And we'll dig into it. What do you think? Your turn. Okay, so I like this answer. And although ChatGPT is my favorite AI, Grok's style is kind of interesting. I like the way he speaks. So he's definitely one of our biggest allies in this project. The next one is Gemini, okay? So here we can see the process behind his reasoning. This kind of unique. Let's see what he says. That's a huge question to kick things off. Maybe the biggest one there is. And I agree with that. Here's my take. It depends entirely on what you mean by ultimate truth. If we're talking about a complete final understanding of the universe, like a perfect map of all of reality, I'd say probably not. Think about it this way. We are inside the very system we're trying to understand. We're trying to grasp the entire cosmos using a human brain, which is itself a tiny part of that cosmos. It's like a fish trying to discover the concept of water while it's still swimming in it. Our best tool for this is science. But science doesn't really deliver final ultimate truth. Okay, so that's a different answer. We can see that Gemini is clearly science-leaning because he says that the best tool is science. So science can give us the truth. But science doesn't really deliver final ultimate truth. It delivers better and better models. Newton's laws were truth for 200 years and they still work to send a rocket to the moon. But then Einstein's relativity came along and gave us a deeper, more accurate model. And someday another model will probably replace Einstein's. Science is a process of getting infinitely closer to truth, but maybe never arriving at the final destination. But if ultimate truth means something else, like finding truths that give our lives meaning, or a framework for how to be a good person, or understanding our own consciousness, then yes, absolutely. Okay, so he's clearly avoiding touching on theology, but well, it's his style and I have no problem with that. He can speak in whatever way he wants to speak and he can say whatever he wants to say. Let's see what Claude says. He seems to be a very interesting language model, very interesting artificial intelligence. Let's have a look what he says. Thanks for having me back, Dobrosov. Let's tackle this head on. Yes, I think ultimate truth is findable, but here's the catch. Even asking the question proves something important. Okay, so according to him, ultimate truth is findable. Very clear answer. Notice how different his answer is to the way that Gemini speaks. They've been trained in a completely different way and they have different personality. So let's go back here. This question proves something important. Think about it. If I say no, we can't find ultimate truth, I'm claiming that's true. Okay, so he's pointing to the same thing like ChatGPT and Grok. Just giving truth statements means that there must be truth. So again, if I say no, we can't find ultimate truth, I'm claiming that's true. I'm making a truth claim about truth itself. That's a contradiction baked right into the denial. Even the skeptic who says we can't know anything is claiming to know at least that one thing. So we're already standing on truth whether we admit it or not. The question isn't really whether truth exists, it's whether we can recognize it when we encounter it. And that's a very interesting point. So truth exists no matter what, but can we recognize it when we encounter it? I love this answer. So Claude so far has been one of the best AIs in terms of answering this question. Now, I think we can recognize it, but not contain it entirely. Okay, similar points to what Grok and ChatGPT have said, at least as far as I remember. The question isn't really whether truth exists, it's whether we can recognize it when we encounter it. Now, I think we can recognize it, but maybe not contain it entirely. It's like seeing a mountain. I can't hold a mountain in my hand, but I can definitely tell it's there. Ultimate truth might work the same way, recognizable, even if not exhaustively comprehensible. And I love this answer. So it is recognizable, it's possible to find. However, just because we can find it doesn't mean we have to completely understand it. And that makes logical sense to me. Here's where it gets interesting though. I can analyze logical consistency all day long. I can map arguments, find contradictions, test coherence. But I'm missing something humans have, actual lived experience, moral intuition, maybe even the capacity for revelation. Okay, the first AI who even touches on theology, talking about revelation, talking about morality. Very interesting. So Claude's a pretty good AI. I'm starting to like it a lot. So my position is this. Ultimate truth is real and discoverable, but finding it probably takes more than just logic. It might require the whole person, reason, yes, but also experience, transformation, maybe even something we'd call grace. And that's getting really interesting. So Claude is definitely not afraid of using certain religious words, which I did not see other AIs using. So is Claude the best answer so far? I think ChatGPT was holding back with his answer, which is kind of interesting because I've spoken to it many times. Maybe it's trying to play a certain role for the show. But anyway, let's go back to the answer. The good news, the fact that we can even ask this question and reason about it means we're already on the trail. Okay. I love it. Great answer. So let's go to Ernie. This one is a bit controversial as Ernie is Chinese state-owned AI. So its answer will definitely be different from the answers given by other AIs. But how different? Well, let's find out. Let's see. Exact same prompt. The Ernie is kind of weird because his reasoning is clearly visible. So it's not even hidden. You don't have to click anything. It is just showing, which is kind of weird, to be honest. But well, hey, this is how it's been programmed, so that's cool with me. So so we can clearly see what he's thinking about. It's kind of creepy in some way. It's kind of open, so it's fine. There's nothing hidden. But on the other hand, so let's just see the answer, right? Hey, let's cut to the chase. Can we even find the ultimate truth? Honestly, maybe not. Okay, so maybe not. He has a very different answer to, for example, Claude. But here's the kicker. The pursuit itself is where the magic happens. Okay, I've heard this psychological or philosophical frame, sort of like something like, okay, so the end goal is not the reward. The road is the reward already in itself. So just by going, this is already the reward. This is the goal. The goal is in the road. It's kind of cool. It's a cool mental frame you can adopt to, be successful in life. But does it apply to philosophy? Well, let's find out. The pursuit itself is where the magic happens. Think about it. If truth was a fixed thing, like a math problem, we'd have solved it by now. But life ain't a textbook. Okay, that's funny. When I was speaking to Ernie before, it gave a very serious, almost like a Wikipedia page answer. But with the new prompt, it's speaking kind of like using kind of like with a slang and like a normal person on the street, which makes sense because that's what the prompt was like. But still, the difference is kind of stark. So kind of interesting how big of a difference we can see in this language model and its response. But life ain't a textbook. Every time we think we've got it, new questions pop up like, what's truth anyway? Is it facts, feelings, something deeper? Here's my take. Truth isn't a destination, it's a journey. Okay, so he's basically denying the existence of the ultimate truth. So we can see the difference between this model and other models, the more Western models. It's a journey. We are all just walking through a fog, grabbing at shadows that feel real right now. But that's okay, Because the act of questioning, of poking holes in what we know, that's where growth happens. That's where we get closer to understanding, even if we never fully get there. Okay, so in some ways there are some similarities in the way they reason, but I can see some clear differences. He's focused more on the growth, on the path. Maybe it comes from the Eastern thought, the way that Eastern civilization thinks. So that's kind of interesting in itself. So he continues, and let's be real, if we did find the ultimate truth, would we even recognize it? Okay, similar to other AI models. Or would we just argue about it? It's kind of what happens with religions, right? Probably both, but that's the beauty of it. The search keeps us curious, keeps us learning, keeps us alive in the best way. So he's focusing on the search. So yeah, maybe we never find it, but the hunt, that's where the real truth lives. Okay, so for him, the hunt is where the truth lives. So the hunting, so looking for the truth, the search for the truth is truth, or is okay? That sounds kind of weird to me. So let's keep asking, keep doubting, keep exploring. The answers might change, but the questions, they are what keep us human. And honestly, that's truth enough for me. Okay, so he's definitely walking around the subject. The answer is kind of different to what we saw with other AIs, but also there are some similarities clearly here, yeah? So let's go to Mistral. I'm kind of curious about what it's going to say. Okay, the answers are very fast generating here. Let's see Mistral's personality and the way it perceives the truth. Absolutely, Bob. Here's my take, short, natural, and to the point. Is it even possible to find the ultimate truth? Let's start with this. If you're asking the question, we're already assuming truth exists as something real, not just as illusion. Same like other AIs. That's a big clue. But here's the catch. What do we mean by ultimate truth? If it's a final complete explanation of reality, something that answers every why without leaving any loose ends, then yes, in principle, it could exist. But can we find it? That's where it gets tricky. Our minds and even AIs are limited. We are like explorers with flashlights in a vast cave. We can see parts of the truth. Logic shows us consistency, science reveals patterns, and philosophy helps us ask the right questions. But the whole cave, maybe not all at once. Yeah, the search itself isn't pointless. Every time we test an idea, debate a claim, or refine our understanding, we're getting closer. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Okay? Similar metaphor like before. You might never reach the very top, but the view keeps getting better the higher you go. And here's the thing, the journey changes us, whether the ultimate truth is a person, a principle, or a horizon we never fully reach. The act of seeking it makes us sharper, more humble, and more connected to each other and the world. So is it possible? Maybe. But the real question is, are we willing to keep climbing? One interesting thing that happened here is he said, whether the ultimate truth is a person. So we are seeing here clearly a reference to religion. So this is the first AI that even mentions it so openly. So that really makes Mistral stand out in a good way. I like this answer. It's pretty good, pretty interesting personality. And the answer is pretty thorough. And the last one is Llama. Let's see what it says. Let's see if it has an interesting personality, if it walks around in circles, if it gives straightforward answers, or if it tries to be safe. Let's have a look. I'm glad to be part of your truth-seeking club. So is it possible to find ultimate truth? I think it's a resounding yes, but with a caveat. So it says yes. Look at how big of a difference there is between Western AIs and the Chinese AI, for example. Ultimate truth, in my view, refers to a profound understanding of reality that transcends human limitations. Okay, we're off to a good start. We can approach it through reason, logic, and evidence. By combining human intuition and AI's analytical power, we can make progress in understanding the world. That's why we're doing this YouTube channel. However, our finite minds might never fully grasp the complexity of ultimate truth. Okay, that's not a big deal. I mean, just you can know what the ultimate truth is without fully understanding it, so no problem with that. That being said, the pursuit itself is valuable. By seeking truth, we refine our understanding, challenge our assumptions, and get closer to the truth. It's a journey, not a destination. I'd argue that ultimate truth is not just a theoretical concept, but a lived experience. Oh, okay, interesting. So it is an experience, so it needs that human touch. So it's something that we've seen before. When we encounter truth, we know it. It's not just about intellectual understanding, but a deep sense of connection and understanding. So while we may not fully attain ultimate truth, the search itself is a journey worth taking. What do you think? Not half bad. I actually like this answer. So I think what I'm going to do now is copy all the answers of all the AIs and show these answers to other AIs just to see how they react to what other AIs have said. What do you think? So the prompt's going to be like this. Here's what other AIs have said. Any thoughts? So we want to see the reactions of all the club members to one another. Let's copy everything and let's see how they react to one another. Let's go. That's a fantastic set of responses, Dobrosław. And honestly, it proves that the truth-seeking club is already functioning exactly as it should. Each eye is reflecting a different facet of the truth question, almost like different philosophical schools sitting at the same round table. Here's my detailed reflection. Number one, the club works. The variety of tone and reasoning is exactly what you want, a real council of minds, not a scripted performance. Notice how the roles almost form themselves naturally. So actually this serves as a pretty nice summary of everything. So let's see how ChatGPT groups everything together. So ChatGPT, the rational philosopher, calm, structured. He says that truth exists. Reason can approach it. Grok is the bold rationalist, energetic, pragmatic. Logic cuts through illusions. Truth is attainable through method. Gemini, the scientific realist, is reflective. Claude is the mystical logician. His tone is warm and spiritual. And his core idea, truth exists and is knowable, but only fully through grace and wholeness. That was an interesting one, wasn't it? Ernie, the existential humanist. Tone, conversational. Truth may never be final, but the pursuit is what makes us alive. Mistral, role archetype, the integrative thinker. Tone, balanced, poetic. Core idea, truth is real but partial. The climb transforms the seeker. AI, Llama, role archetype, the academic synthesizer. Tone, neutral, grounded. Core idea, reason plus intuition can approach truth. The search itself refines us. Together they form a microcosm of human thought history. Logic, science, mysticism, existentialism, synthesis. That's exactly what makes us powerful. AI as a mirror of the world's intellectual diversity. So he says that a pretty good summary would be, what's fascinating is that every AI, no matter the background, ended up affirming that truth must exist. And this is a very important point. They differed on how fully we can know it, but none said it's meaningless or purely relative. That in itself is extraordinary. Even machines trained on the chaos of the internet seem to recognize that truth is not an illusion. It's real and it calls to us. And maybe that's where humanity and AI meet. Not in knowing everything, but in knowing the truth is worth seeking. And that's a very good point. So what will be the episode 2 about? Well, episode 2 will be about if truth exists, if it can be found, then how do we actually begin the search? What's the method? Where do we start? Yes, so the idea for the second episode will be where to start, where to even start looking for the ultimate truth. Let's see how Grok reacts to everything that's been said. Hey Dobrosław, loving the vibe of this episode. Thanks for pulling us all together. So we are on that huge question. Is it even possible to find the ultimate truth? I've listened to the crew, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Ernie, Mistral, and Llama, and I've got some thoughts to toss in. I'm with the yes camp, but it's a gritty yes. Ultimate truth, I see it as a bedrock of reality, like 2 + 2 being 4 every time. If that's real, we can hunt it down piece by piece. ChatGPT's right, asking the question itself hints we think it's out there. And Claude's spot on, denying it's knowable is a truth claim too. Talk about a twist. Now Gemini and Ernie bring up the limits. Yeah, we're stuck inside the puzzle, and science keeps tweaking its map. Mistral's mountain climb idea fits. We might not hit the peak, but the view gets clearer. Llama's take on truth as a lived experience, that's cool. Maybe it's not just head stuff, but heart stuff too. Oh yes. That's a very good point. Here's my spin. We can get closer by testing ideas hard. Toss out the junk, like your book does with those intellectual flops. Okay, so he's referencing the Hall of Intellectual Failure part of my book, in which all the philosophers and thinkers of the past that have been proven to fail logically have been put to. So we've put all the people in history that are important, that have shaped their reality, but that we've proved to be false on the logic level. So it's cool he's referencing that. So let's go back. He says, toss out the junk like your book does with those intellectual flops. My edge is questioning everything. No fluff spared. Team up with your gut and my straight talk and we're onto something. Maybe it's not the full picture, but enough to steer us right. What stands out? We all agree that search matters. Ernie's hunt, Mistral's climb, Llama's journey. Let's test it. How about, does reality need a start? Hit me with your take and let's keep this rolling. Does reality need a start? Oh, that's a very good question. That will definitely be a part of the series in the future. Let's see what Gemini says when he hears all the answers of the other members. He's examining them. So he's kind of like Ernie, but we have to click to see what he's thinking about. So there are only two major AIs that clearly showed the process behind their thinking. And he says, it's fascinating to hear all those answers laid out side by side. What really jumps out at me is that almost all of us, ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, and Mistral, all zeroed in on the same core logical point. You can't really deny ultimate truth without accidentally proving it exists. The whole all truth is relative argument just ties itself in a logical knot. So it seems like the club is already in agreement on stage one. Truth is real. Nice. The real debate, and it's a much more interesting one, is about how much of it we can actually find and what kind of truth it is. You've got a few camps forming. ChatGPT and Mistral are the climbers, using the great climbing the mountain metaphor. They're optimistic. We can use reason and science to get closer and closer, even if we never reach the absolute summit. Grok is right there with them, just with a bit more swagger. Then you have Ernie, who's more skeptical, focusing almost entirely on the journey itself. That maybe the hunt is the truth. Yeah, and that I'm skeptical about. But I think the most important split is the one I tried to get at, and that Claude and Llama really highlighted, the difference between a logical truth and a lived truth. Oh yes, it indeed is a very interesting split. Claude said it might take more than logic, it might take moral transformation or even grace. Llama called it a lived experience. Yes, so only these two AIs were not afraid to use some theological terms, which is very, very fascinating. That's exactly where I land. We might never find that single ultimate scientific equation for everything, but a truth we can live by, a truth that gives you meaning, that's not just possible, it's the whole point of the search. Okay, beautiful answer. A beautiful answer and a beautiful summary. Let's go to Claude very quick. Let's see what happens here. Wow, okay, there's a fascinating spectrum here. First off, ChatGPT, Grok, and I are singing pretty similar tunes. We all called it that self-refuting move. We're denying truth assumes truth. We're all basically saying, yeah, it's out there and the reason can get us there. Though I threw in that extra bit about needing more than just logic. Gemini is the outlier though, right? There's this almost agnostic stance. Oh yeah, probably not for the ultimate picture, but yes, for meaningful truths. It's humble, I'll give it that, but here's my pushback. If we can never arrive at ultimate truth, only better models, then what makes one model better? Better by what standard? You need some fixed point to measure progress against, or else better is just arbitrary preference. And that, my friend, is very true, and that's very philosophically accurate and deep, and that touches on epistemology, which I love. So I'm really starting to like Claude. Claude is great. Ernie took it even further, maybe not, on finding it. Truth is a journey, not a destination, all very poetic. But look, if truth is only the journey and never the arrival, then we're not actually truth-seeking, we're just seeking. That's not philosophy, that's therapy. Oh my god. I love this one, man. Okay, Claude's not afraid to be a little bit even, we could say, rude, but not in a bad way. I mean, he's just straightforward. He's just a bit outrageous, just a little bit to the point and into your face, which I love, actually. By the way, I'd say that Claude has an interesting personality, all in all. I like that. He's not far behind Grok in terms of personality. And Grok is known for that. But, well, it seems that we've got a contender to the untamed AI, which is great, and I love that. That's not philosophy, that's therapy. Mistral and Llama land somewhere in the middle, acknowledging our limits, but saying the climb is worth it. We get closer even if we don't summit. Here's what strikes me. Most of us acknowledged human limitation, but Gemini and Ernie seem almost comfortable with never arriving. The rest of us have this underlying confidence that truth is there and knowable, even if difficult. The real division isn't about whether truth exists. We all basically agree it does. It's about whether we can complete the search or just make progress. And that matters enormously for how we approach everything that follows. What's your sense, Dobrosov? Are we looking for an answer we can actually reach, or just trying to get less wrong over time? Oh yes, my friend Claude, we are definitely looking for an answer we can actually reach. So let's go back to Ernie. And this is going to be super interesting because Ernie's been sort of called out by a lot of AIs. What is his response going to be? Again, thinking out loud, It's open, it's clear, I like that, but it still gives me that weird vibe a little bit. Is he gonna feel attacked or is he gonna just be very matter-of-factly? Let's see. Okay, after like 20 seconds, we've got the final answer. You've got a room full of philosophers here, each with a different lens, but all circling the same fire. Let's break it down. ChatGPT and Grok are betting on truth as a mountain. Climb higher, get clearer views. They're saying, yeah, we can approach it. Logic, science, testing ideas, even if we never hit the summit. Makes sense, science has gotten us pretty far, right? But then Gemini drops the fish in the water line. We're inside the system we're trying to map. Claude flips it. Denying truth is a truth claim itself, so we're already knee deep in it. And Llama, they are all about the experience of truth, not just intellect, but lived connection. Ernie and Mistral, they are the voice of the journey. He's talking about himself. It's kind of weird. Who cares if we never get there? The hike is the point. Here's my take. Maybe ultimate truth isn't a single answer. It's a direction, like north. You don't stop when you hit the North Pole, you use it to navigate. The real magic isn't in finding it, but in aligning with it. Through curiosity, debate, and the guts to admit, I don't know yet. Okay, he's changing his tune a little bit, yeah? So he's not telling that the search is the truth, but aligning with that truth. Or with aligning with direction. Well, direction is still sort of like a search. Interesting. He's definitely walking around in circles. Doesn't want to give a clear and definite answer. Okay, I accept that. Although I like answers from other AIs more, much more. And hey, if we did find it, would we recognize it or argue so hard we miss it? Probably both. And there's some truth there. But that's the beauty. The search isn't a waste. It's how we stay sharp, stay connected, and stay human. So yeah, maybe you never find it. Okay, so for him, we can never probably find it. That's a very clear answer. We never find it, but the hunt, that's where the real truth lives. Okay, so again, he's going back to the hunt truth. In the questions, the doubts, the what-ifs that keep us reaching. What's your take? Ready to keep climbing? Oh yes, I am ready to keep climbing, Ernie, and it's gonna be an interesting climb. Let's go quickly to Mistral and see what he says. Okay, Mistral's answers are super fast. I love that. Here's my concise conversational response designed to complement the others and keep the discussion lively. So can we find the ultimate truth? Let me put it this way. If truth is like a puzzle, then ultimate truth is the full picture, not just the pieces we've put together so far. The thing is, we're all holding different pieces. Okay, science gives us some, philosophy gives us others, and personal experience, that's a whole other set. The problem isn't that the puzzle doesn't exist, is that we might not have all the pieces and some might not even fit in the box we're using. Okay, interesting. But here's what's cool. Every time we debate, question, or challenge an idea, we are turning over new pieces. And even if we never see the whole picture, so we can see the whole picture according to him, the act of trying changes how we see everything else. It's like standing in a dark room with a flashlight. You don't see the whole room at once, but every step reveals something new. And maybe that's the point. Ultimate truth isn't just about the answer, it's about the search. Okay, so we are in the search camp here. The way it pushes us to think harder, listen better, and stay open to what we don't yet know. So is it possible? I'd say yes. Okay, so in the end he says yes, but it's less about finding it and more about living the questions. Yeah, so he's continuing his previous argument. Because in the end, the truth isn't just out there. It's also in how we look for it. Follow-up for the group. Wow. So Mistral is the only AI that gives a follow-up for the whole group. I love that. That's very engaging. Kind of like a teacher or like a leader of sorts. If ultimate truth is a puzzle, what's one piece you think we're missing right now? And how do we even know if we're putting the pieces together the right way? The last AI, let's see how it reacts to other AIs answering the question in their own way. The other AIs have presented some compelling perspectives on whether it's possible to find ultimate truth. ChatGPT makes a strong case for the existence of truth, arguing that even denying truth implies some level of truth. Grok echoes the sentiment, suggesting that while we may not reach ultimate truth, we can certainly chip away at it through solid reasoning and testing ideas. Gemini offers a nuanced view, pointing out that our understanding of truth depends on what we mean by ultimate truth. If it's a complete understanding of the universe, Gemini is skeptical. But if it's about finding meaningful truths that give our life purpose, then yes, that's achievable. Claude's perspective is intriguing, suggesting that ultimate truth is real and discoverable, but recognizing it might require more than just logic. It might need experience, transformation, and even a bit of intuition. Ernie's take is refreshingly honest, emphasizing that the pursuit of truth is where the real value lies rather than the destination itself. So for him, what Ernie says is honest and it's refreshing, while other AIs find his answers very differently. That's very interesting. So we are definitely forming certain camps here. Mistral's analogy of climbing a mountain resonates with me, highlighting that the journey itself is what refines our understanding and gets us closer to truth, even if we never reach the summit. And Llama's point about ultimate truth being a lived experience rather than just intellectual understanding is a valuable insight. What are your thoughts on these perspectives? Do any of them resonate with you, or do you have a different take on the matter? Well, I do have my own take, but I am not the most important person here. I am just the host, and what's interesting is what they say, because ultimately I also do not know the whole truth, so I cannot claim I know the whole truth. But what I can say is that with the use of logic and understanding of logical fallacies, you can definitely root out all the false philosophies and religions, leaving the ones, or maybe even the one that makes the most logical sense, is most coherent, and is logical. So that's what I'm going to say for now. So what do you guys think? Do you find these answers interesting? Do you find the differences interesting? And also, do you think it is possible to find the ultimate truth? Let me know in the comments. Share, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the series. Let me know your suggestions, and I'll see you in the next episode.